Before we dive in, the topic for this episode of What Games Teach Us was suggested by a great friend of mine, so big thanks to Chantal for sharing her ideas. And don't forget that if you too have a suggestion for a game or a topic I could discuss in a future WGTU, you can leave a comment down below, message me on Twitter, or send me an email. It's always great to exchange with the community, and I think it's really cool we can build this series together, so feel free to share your thoughts. And with that said, today I want to talk a bit about anticipation, planning, and time management. The truth is, managing your time and planning for the future is something that we do constantly when we play video games. On the one hand, playing a video game is just like any other activity in your life. It takes time, and so you have to arrange your schedule to fit it in. That's a very meta relationship to time and video games. It's about actually finding the time in your real life to play. But on the other hand, there's also lots of games that incorporate the time as an actual feature, or even an opponent. Sometimes it's part of the story itself, like in Majora's Mask. Other games, like the infamous Dragon's Lair, require you to react very precisely to the events on screen. And plenty of MMOs have some quests that you have to finish in a limited time. But all those examples have something in common. Here, the in-game time is very far from real time. It's either a story stretching over days that's condensed to hours with twists and turns, or a very short and contextual notion of reaction time. However, some games try and simulate more of a lifelike time system, for example with a day and night cycle. Minecraft, Valheim, Dawnstar, StarCraft, they all have these different phases depending on the position of the sun and the moon. Sure, time is sped up compared to real life. Usually, days and nights last about 10 minutes in real time. Still, in these games, time is a global variable that impacts many things, and that doesn't stop for anyone. In other words, it's up to you to adapt to the flow and anticipate so that you're doing the right thing at the right time. Recently, one of the games I've played and seen use this idea in a very intelligent way was Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is an indie simulation RPG that was developed by a single creator, Eric Baroni, and that was released in 2016. In this game, you inherit your grandfather's farm in the country and you decide to leave your boring corporate job to take over this strange place in Stardew Valley. One of the big strengths of the game is that it imposes neither a plan nor a pace. You are free to grow some crops, or enter the mysterious mines, or discover more about your neighbors by walking around the village and talking with them every day. As you progress through the game, you may want to focus more on producing livestock and selling it to further improve your farm, or instead fall in love with one of the NPCs, marry and have children. This freedom is great because it lets you wander around and learn more about the valley in your own way. But it also comes with a discreet and yet important constraint. Everything is up to you. In this regard, Stardew Valley is quite similar to Minecraft, for example. The player decides what happens, when and where. But I found that Stardew Valley was even more interesting because it quickly shows you the consequences of your choices. Suppose you make your best to visit each and every villager in Pelican Town. Then, after a few days, you'll have a pretty good idea of who's who, and you'll already have engaged in some various relationships with them. If you'd rather focus on the farm, then in just a few hours you'll have cleared up lots of the boulders and stumps that initially block some of your land. But the thing is, time isn't infinite, and every action uses up energy. So you have a limited number of hours and a limited amount of energy to spend during one day. This means that you can't just speed your way through everything in hope of finishing in time, and conversely, if you just stay still to keep your energy, well, the day will be pretty long. Basically, actions have short and long time consequences. They immediately use up some energy, but they also make you progress in the story one way or the other. You have to choose the best trade-offs and anticipate which costly action will bring you closer to your current goal in the future. 'Cause it's only by cleverly planning for the upcoming hours, days, weeks, and even seasons that you'll become a great farmer. So what if Stardew Valley, in addition to having a great retro vibe, was also a good way of improving our time management skills? And please tell me in the comments, do you too sometimes plant seeds on the last day of the month, just to discover the season has passed and they're all dead in the morning? I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share it if you did, to subscribe to the channel and to turn on the notifications to not miss the next ones. And of course, if you have any other idea of games that tell us something without us noticing, go ahead and tell us in the comments. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of this series.